Hello, everybody. This is David with Truth and Grace. With David, we're going to talk about signs of the promise and redemption. Beloved friends, today we gather to explore two symbols etched in creation and history, the cross and the rainbow. One born of suffering and salvation, the other of grace and promise, seemingly opposite in tone, but yet both point to love and deeper than the oceans and covenant that reshapes eternity. And what I'm talking about that is that we have the cross that Jesus was on, that he suffered. Then on the other hand, we have the rainbow with his promise of grace. And so that all comes together into two. So we'll start with the cross, the power of suffering redeemed. The cross at its most literal was a Roman tool of torture, but through Christ it became the divine intersection of justice and mercy. So let's take a look at the historical weight. Crucifixion was meant to humiliate, to destroy completely, yet Jesus embraced that suffering willingly, transforming it into victory. The spiritual meaning is the cross speaks of substitution, which he was a substitution for us. He took our place. And it whispers of love that sacrifices, mercy that triumphs over judgment. Then we have the vertical and the horizontal beam, the cross. One reaches up, the other reaches outward. It stretches outward. With its hands was out. Together they remind us of reconciliation with God and with each other. So it says in Isaiah 53:5, by his wounds we are healed, not despite the suffering, but through it. And what that means is that despite the suffering, but through it, by his wounds that he sustained, we are healed through him. So now let's go to the rainbow, the echo of grace after the storm. The rainbow appears in Genesis after the great flood. It wasn't just beautiful, it was a contract, a holy signature written across the sky. It was written across the sky. God's covenant, never again, he said, never again will destruction be his final answer. Then we have the seven colors, seven promises, completion, diversity, inclusion, light retracted into glory. Those are the seven colors. And those are the seven colors. So what we see with these seven colors is the completion. Those seven colors that he promised after the flood in Genesis, when they landed, there was a rainbow. And he told Noah, the rainbow never comes first. It arrives after the storm. And he said that after the wreckage, it was his grace. And he said, never again will destruction be his final answer. That's what he said to Noah. He said, I have set my rainbow in the clouds, and it shall be a sign of our covenant. In Genesis 9:13. So we can connect those symbols, the cross and the rainbow. So the cross and the rainbow that we can connect is the echo of grace and storm, God's covenant. And he says, while we connect, the cross as the storm is where wrath meets love, where sin was punished and the sinner redeemed. So the rainbow as the aftermath, the cross happened, so we could live under the rainbow They promise never to be condemned again. And together they say, we are not forgotten and you are not forsaken. We are not forgotten and you are not forsaken. Because God remembers. He remembered because he sent his son to die on that cross when he made that promise. That was his plan from the very beginning. The rainbow replies, and you will leave whole, bathed in promise. If you ever feel like life nailed you to a place of suffering, remember just beyond these storm clouds, God paints in light, and his brush strokes reach you. It always will reach you. So just remember this. There is a connection between those symbols, the rainbow and the cross. You see that rainbow, you see that cross, you see those beams vertical that goes heaven upward. Then you see the beams that goes horizontal, stretching out the hands for reconciliation. And that's the final reflection of the rainbow and the cross. And you can come back over this and you can look at, go to my face page, and you can see the whole thing, Truth and Grace with David. I have a page that's called Truth and Grace with David. Go over to that, and you will see the whole story that I have explained to you. So I want to thank you, and I hope that this give you a little bit of a light of the rainbow and the cross, because they come together like two fingers, and like these eyes that we see, and it comes together, and it's called the cross and the rainbow. So I'm David with Truth and Grace. Thank you for tuning in, listening, watching. I hope you get something out of this.